BEEX project is a no-profit foundation about visual art and photography. If you want to help us, just drop a donation on buymeacoffee.com/BerlinExplorer. So welcome to this other appointment with 50 minutes of experience. Today I'm with Christian Heidebur from Germany, Munich, and welcome to this podcast, Christian.
Hello, welcome. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, it's really a pleasure for us. So today we talk about you, and what I know about you, you are a really interesting experimental photographer. I found you on Lomography recently, and I was really interested to talk with you about the experience you had in photography, but not as only a photographer, but as a human.
Cool.
So there is something you would like to share with us in particular, or we just keep on and slowly we go in a direction we don't know yet?
Yeah, let's go in a direction where we don't know yet, but I can talk a bit about me. So like you said, my name is Christian Heidebur, and I'm living in Munich, but I'm from Westphalia in Germany, in the middle of Germany. And I moved to Munich 6 years ago, I think, round about. And yeah, and obviously I have a passion for photography, so that's the reason why I'm here. And I do analog fine art photography, and yeah, you said I do experimental stuff, and my passion is surreal photography. I like I'm not I don't like just a generic photo. I don't know if I go hiking or something and wouldn't like just a normal photo from the landscape. So I always like a bit the photos a bit more special, so like a surreal taste to it, and therefore I have different techniques. And yeah, the cool thing about analog photography is that you can experiment quite well with it. So I have access to a few different cameras, a professional SLR camera, and but toy cameras as well, made out of plastic, very cheap and simple. And I use different kinds of films. So there are very cool films out there who have a color shift, so you can do photos in false colors. So it's great for a surrealistic feel. And there are a lot of lenses, like trick lenses, prism lenses, and stuff like that. You can use filters. So I try to use everything, yeah, which help to make a photo which is a bit more interesting than a normal one. And there are different techniques I like, and what I'm really stuck to is double exposures. I'm not sure if you can do double exposures with digital cameras as
Sure,
well.
you can do it. I mean, in the last 3 cameras I had the digital, there was an option to doing double exposure, so then you had just to click on, and yeah, the camera was set to have the aperture on the same frame.
Ah, cool. Okay, I didn't know that, but I was hoping that you can do, because I like double exposures the most. That's
I love
that's
to.
my thing. So
Uh,
and yeah, you can bring two totally different motifs together which don't belong together, and create something totally new. And that's really a series I like. I have the series called Urban versus Nature, where I go out in Munich or somewhere else in urban areas, do a photo there, and make this overlapping with a shot in the nature, in forests and something. And yeah, that's what I really like. And like I said, this special films with a color shift or false colors are really helping there. And what you can do as well with analog is film soups. That's a quite unique niche where you put your film after exposure maybe in some liquids and let it suck or soak for a few hours and let it dry before you send it to the lab and let it develop, and you get kind of smudges on the photos, and it's can be really beautiful. And I like experimenting a lot.
And, just to keep on the soup, because it's something I also do it a lot with Polaroid, especially. But which was your last soup? Which was the recipe of the last soup?
Oh, the last one I did is in the film lab, and I will get it tomorrow. So I'm quite excited. That's only or that's a special thing with analog photography, that you're collecting film rolls and you're waiting till for the lab to develop them. And the recipe, I think I mixed quite a few liquids and had some alcoholic liquids for a few hours, and then I had a kind of other cleaners for another few hours, and I put in some. That was the first time I put in some dyes. I have watercolors here, and I put in some brown and blue dyes into the water, and I'm quite curious if how this will turn out and if this works.
Yeah, it's always really interesting to know what come out. And you usually do it before or after developing the negative? Sometimes before, and then was really difficult to develop the negative.
Yeah, well, the film lab is warned, so that is this film soup. Now I do this before the development, so I'm not sure. I never tried this out after, because yeah, when the film is developed, it's kind I don't know if it's really fixed there on the negative. So I do this before I go put it
Depends of the power of the liquid. Yeah, for sure. If you work with chemical liquid, they are a bit more stronger. Yeah, they go to really damage in a way. Damage or just destructor the images on the film.
And another problem would be I had to scan the negative when I soup it after it comes back from the lab, and that's the most tedious part in analog photography. So I always do the lab, do the scanning.
Yeah. So to go a bit more deep inside of your experience with photography, you wrote in our note that you started photography 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And your life changed a lot as well in the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's a bit connected with my photography. So at first um, I didn't shoot much photo or to be honest, no photos at all. I didn't have a digital a digi cam at all before, and so 2 years ago I met this girl Irene, and she was or she is into photography. She does portrait photos, and she uses analog cameras as well. And when I met her, I thought, okay, cool. You have 30 cameras at your home. It's cool. You're doing photos. Okay, good. We can't use your fridge because it's full of rolls of and okay, so cool. But I think she needed 2 months or so to get me into photography as well. When we were on a hiking trip, she just gave me one of her cameras and a cool film and said, just try it, just have fun. And yeah, and then I started with photography as well, and I really liked it. And I couldn't imagine all these different techniques. I've never heard of double exposures before. I didn't know that there are so many films out there which just don't give a natural look, but no, where you can, or I use I like these color slide films, and you have if you develop them like a normal film, they are very vibrant and high contrast photos. I like that a lot. I use cinefilm a lot. I like that as well, and never heard about all of this before, and was quite surprised what is possible with analog. And yeah, since then I have the camera with me all the time, and I go a lot more out in the nature than before. And even here in Munich, where I just before, when I don't know, had to go to work or wanted to meet friends or so, I went to the subway, to the metro station, and got in, got out, and didn't see any of the city at all. And now, if it's not heavily raining, I go out with my camera. I do a lot by foot, and I have seen a lot of the city since then. So it's a totally different. And the way you notice your environment totally changes if you have a camera with you. So I like this
Yeah,
a lot.
we can say the camera in a way or another it's connecting us to the world. So yeah, in a way it's a tool to define the true and the reality. So our reality, our true, and we can in a way consider that as a moment, especially a moment for ourselves to define also what kind of identity we have. And yeah, this is what I received from your recent experience in photography, and I think is something will never stop. In the moment you are you jump inside of the world, then you recognize yourself in this world, and you feel like, yeah, where I was before. Before I was not really in the world, now I'm
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, and that brings me to another interesting point. You said that this has an impact on your identity as well, and that's interesting. And I wanted to talk about that a bit. Before I started photography 2 years ago, I painted quite a lot in my free time, maybe another two years before that, and since and since I do photography, I wanted to share my work. So it's always nice to share that. I didn't know really why, but I wanted to share, and I wanted to make a website. I thought it's, besides Instagram and whatnot, it's a good way to present yourself. And I was really struggling when I thought about it. So what should I do? Should I make a website and say, hey, I'm Christian Heidebur. I'm a great artist or photographer, and I wasn't really sure. So just because I'm going with my camera now everywhere I go and shoot every blade of grass, so am I a big photographer or artist now? I really struggled there, and I don't know what you would, or if you ever had this point where you questioned yourself
Yeah,
about
I
that
mean,
part.
if I take
Are you
your
an artist?
I mean, yeah, I'm a, I don't know. Artist for me is a big word. I think it's a big
Yeah,
and is a simple word. I think everyone is an artist. I'm a
that's yeah.
creative. I work in creativity from when I was born. I mean, I don't remember one time I was not creating something. So then, I create from all my life. So, but if I have to say, yeah, how I define myself as a human.
Yeah.
I don't like to define myself as a creative, especially now in these last years where I work much more as a creative, so as a professionist with many clients. For the work, I have to define myself always in a way. It's always difficult to define because I work with all the tool possible in creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what I say in general when I teach is, yeah, the tool is you. It's not, you can have what else you want in your hand on, you can use what else, but the tool is you. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't work, the tool doesn't work. And this is what I think always is. We are really probably in a century where it's really important to understand that we cannot define ourselves as a tool. And especially in this center, it's important to know that everyone is able to doing everything, because we share constantly every information. Also, if we think we don't do it anything special, also the person is just watching Instagram every day without any reason. It's accumulating some influences and some ideas in a way. And the point totally change just when you understand that the difference is when you choose to use this information you eat every day, or you just eat and never digest that stuff. It's just a matter of a choice. So yeah, I had in the past that dilemma always practically because the society around me, the culture, I'm from Italy, and I think this is quite in the same of Germany in that way, also to always saying, yeah, you cannot do it many stuff, you have to choose one stuff, choose, it's pretty monogamous, the society in the world, but not not all in the way of sexuality, but in a way probably of being human. So for me, being human means to have more capacities than in general be an animal, but that doesn't mean we are not animal. And this is the lovely part, I think, of art, that we can still be animal in a way, child. We can play a lot. I like to play. I'm a person, I really like to play with everything, and most of the time spielen, no, playing is not really relevant to something has to be fun. Also, I really love these etymologies about the words. I really like the etymologies in general, but in many languages, as English or German, we use spiele or play also to define the acting, for example, as in the theater or in the cinema, or doing totally different kind of action. And that's, I think, is the properly words we have to use also when we do it photography, or if we do it architecture, or if we do it totally something else, cooking or what else. It's not really important sometimes to define the action with a word and then to close this word in a limit or in a border. It's important
and
free.
I like what you said. You said everyone is an artist. I think I don't know if Joseph Beuys was the one who said it this way, and now I totally agree with that. And it's just you said it's a strong word. I think the same, but it's just a word. It's just how you defines it. And so but I was pretty harsh or not very kind to myself when I asked, so what are you doing with your camera? Are you a big artist now? And when I want to present myself or introduce myself on a website, so I felt strange to type in I'm an artist, that's my artwork. So because I had a lot of respect for this big word, and but now however I okay, everybody is an artist, so I do photos. They are kind of surreal or artistic in a way. Okay, I'm an artist, that's good. And another problem I had after that is, but is this good quality? Is my art good? And I really struggled a lot, and put myself under pressure and said, oh, stop goofing around with your camera. Who do you think you are? You're a wannabe photographer or wannabe artist, so don't waste your time anymore and let this do the professionals, really big artists. So
I want to just say, sorry if I stop you.
Yeah, but please.
It's not important how do you define yourself. I mean, in general, now I will say that also for the people we listen us. It's not really important how we define ourselves, because what we do, it's already a way to define ourselves, is communication. If I say everyone is an artist, it's because art is a matter of communication of expression and emotion and feeling and everything. So it's communication. And if is communication art, so everyone communicates something. And this is in a way my way to think, and is I think in a way really logical. I analyze the words, and I ask to myself why this word is like that, and then I go to the etymologies, to the meaning, and to go really deep inside of the words to understand, okay, if I use these words, it's because it's that. So then cannot be that others. Can be in the moment I use another synonyms. But to keep on what you was saying, I think it's important what you do, also if it's not important what you do. And why? Because if you don't do it, the experiment to doing your website or to try to call yourself artist, in the moment you do it, you are losing just an opportunity, because this is what define an artist. Define an artist if someone else think you are an artist, because the word artist is a label. In this case, it's just a category, and it's a category in a way or another we use for marketing. But I don't think that when you go out and watch, I don't know, something you are interested in, and you shoot a picture, in that moment you are thinking, I'm an artist, I'm an artist, I'm an artist. I mean, I hope there are not a lot of people thinking that way, because we'll be really ill this way. But the point is, you are doing an action, and this is the point. Imagine if it's communicating feeling, so then every time you kiss someone, you feel something for you are an artist. So you did an action to communicate something you feel, so you are an artist. And this is the point. Don't limit yourself. So if you feel to doing a website, if I'm in this position to tell you as a creator, I tell you, do it what you feel to do. If I have to be in the position of a marketer, I could say, look, Christian, you don't need a website. Everything works in the social network actually. The only way you can have a pleasure to have a website is just for a personal pleasure.
Okay, but the way I present myself on social media is quite the same. So it was just an example, and but I like what you said, and but it was just another example for how I treated myself all my life since or till I think it's just 1 year ago where I really changed my mind and have now a totally different point of view. And like I said, I suffered a lot under my own criticism, where I asked myself, is this any good? Has this a bit of quality? Is this worthy to do photos? And now I've read a lot about this guy called Alfred Adler, who is a psychologist or philosopher, and he would say it totally doesn't matter if that is good or not good what you're doing. So life is not a competition, and as long as I'm not maybe a self-employed artist or photographer with with other competitors, as long as just a hobby like it is for me, it just doesn't matter. I don't have to compete myself to other guys, and don't have to judge if that is good or not. It just doesn't matter. And so but I've heard this from other guys, I think all my life. They said, oh, I don't care what other people say, and so on and so on. The only thing which is important is what I think about it. And I didn't believe them that they really think that way. And as much as I liked to adapt this mindset, I wasn't able to. And now I see well, you and me, we are not in a competition together. So I treat you and me and all the photographers in the world as a big network and as a big fellowship. And so it doesn't make sense to do a competition. So it just makes sense to have a look at what we can create together. So that's important.
Yeah,
And
totally.
I'm just when I do photos, I'm part of this network. I'm part of this fellowship, and I try to be helpful. So you are a host of a podcast. I'm a guest of a podcast, and I share my work just to maybe a guy finds the stuff and says, "Oh, cool, that's inspiring." Through that I got a good idea for my own work, and that's what counts. So and
This is actually what we are doing. I'm doing with this project. In the end, is sharing experience because uh, the as a editor in this case, as a creator of photography, I would love to see more individual work. I mean, I'm a bit also tired to see people copying other people. And I ask to myself, why? I mean,
Mhm.
you have your own life, your own personal life. It's full of things I don't know. Why
Yeah,
to watch something other people already showed me? Showing me what is your life.
yeah,
Something other cannot have. And that's why I think doesn't exist the idea of comparison. You cannot compare yourself because other people are not yourself. We
yeah.
cannot compare anything.
And there's no need to. There is no competition out there. It's only there if you make it a competition. So it's
Yeah.
and since I know that, I feel a lot better. I feel really fine and I feel totally comfortable with my work and with myself and what I'm doing, because I don't have this competition anymore. And that's great. And that's, I think, was interesting to share with your
Yeah,
audience.
totally. Thank you a lot for this sharing. We passed over the 50 minutes. I think we are in the
Whoops. Okay.
25 minutes. But yeah, it was nice. And yeah, we can keep on. I mean, we can continue this conversation also in another podcast, maybe also in the when you want. I mean, you can pick
Great. We can talk about something other
with another
other stuff.
podcast.
Great.
And this is the point of this podcast is I think could be unlimited because in a way or another imagine I think I could tell experience every day 3 4 5
Okay.
every day.
Yeah. So we can continue this. Cool.
Yeah, so I thank you for this time, and I want to say if anyone want to watch the work of Christian, I will put in the description the link to the work, especially the work he talked about of urban versus nature, and the profile on nomography, the profile on Instagram, the link tree, everything will be in the description.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Or just Google Christian Heidebur. There's just one out there.
Yeah, thank you a lot for your time, and
Thank you.
I hope, yeah, we will keep on another podcast.
Great. Have a nice evening.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Learn more about our project at allmylinks.com/BerlinExplorer or visit our Instagram and follow BerlinExplorer project.